to join. So I asked everybody, well, we have body selection, we have documentation. When we finished, I mean, usually these ones, because they're about document and body selection, not too many people who, I mean, by the time we finished, those who got disqualified through documentation and other things, they were less than, what do you call it, they were less than 30,000. So it left over 400,000 who were now ready to go through aptitude tests and then medical exams. We have several options. One of the options is that to say that, okay, can we do the pass mark at 50? So that many more people will pass and go for medicals. But now you know the end game. Because the end game is that you will only absorb 5,000. So if you do that, are you fair to the average candidate? Because remember, all these studies, apart from buying the voucher to be able to apply, body selection didn't require payment. What do you call it? Documentation doesn't require payment. Aptitude test doesn't require payment. But medicals will require payment. And in order not to shortchange innocent young people, it is better you put in a mechanism that will reduce the number drastically, because once the person goes to pay, I mean, I know the military, when they were done, the medicals alone was about 1,600. We are doing even mental health, and we are also doing drug tests in addition. Yes, I know Deputy and I were just in a meeting and we're insisting that despite all these additions, the price should not be still very high, looking at the numbers that we're talking about. Are you going to allow over 400,000 people to go and do medicals when you know you have space for only 5,000? How fair are you to the people? So you need to devise a method where you slow down the number and have some reasonable number. So the pass mark was put at 65 because that was what they were told before they even started the exams. So at 65, as we speak, we still have 105,000 that have qualified for medicals. When in actual sense, the total number that we can now take after medicals is 5,000. So we still have a huge challenge. But it gives us the present instruction that, look, those who qualify and pass medicals, let's keep the data. This is the first phase. We are hoping that maybe later in the, because remember this current recruitment that we are doing is a 2025. Hopefully when we are out of the IMF, we will do the 2026. So we'll pick from that same data. Hopefully, if maybe it's past 6 months, then we can only ask them to repeat medicals, but not to start repeating the process all over again. So, fellow citizens, I've heard so much criticism and why this, why that, and I told people, let's assume that I said that, look, without maybe a very bad example, we are going to receive this recruitment to only media people. Let's say there are only media people who will be recruited. You and I know from the length and breadth of our country, the media people will have they are more than 5,000. What criteria are you going to use to get 5,000 out of that more than 5,000? Definitely you have to develop something that will help. You may talk about how fair the thing is or how unfair it is, but what method are you going to use as a way of not using human interference? So that I look at you and say, okay, you can go. You are too short, you can't go. You are too fair, you can't go. That one is too tall. I mean, so you have to use a system that is devoid of human interference to enable the system to carry you to that end. Yes, I know the disappointment. I know the difficulty. But the issue is about joblessness and not issue about disability. And you, all of us know, you want to get a professional police officer. You want to get a professional education officer. You just don't want any person who will go in. I mean, I'm sorry to say this. We are having a challenge with people with mental issues in the service. You have people with drug issues in the service. All these things are things that you use. And through that, some people will fall along the way to enable you get, someone said, about the best of best. So, I know a lot of young people may be disappointed, but they should exercise restraint. This is not going to be the first and last recruitment that the government is going to have. We are going to make sure that, at least, His Excellency Dr. Ahmad Rahman said, as the economy improves, many more will be taken into the civil service. Currently, the police force that we have, the number that we have, just as I mentioned, 49,000 plus. Immigration, about 18,000 plus. Fire, about 17,000 plus. Prisons, about 14,000 plus. Narcotics control, about 3,000 plus. When you put all of them together, they are less than 100,000. They are less than 100,000. But even that, the wage bill on them is about 13 billion. So if the resources were there, I mean, I would have been the happiest person if we were able to recruit about 500,000 more security people. But let's be practical. Will our economy be able to absorb that? We all know that practical. Let's focus. If you have a police of 50,000, can you really take 130,000 and add to an existing 49,000? So this is where we find ourselves, and I want to plead with the rank and file of our youth to appreciate that. That's why we introduce a number of other measures that we are hoping into the future may even help us as a way of screening them. Remember the police assistance that we did? We took 15,000 under the youth employment, model, to be assisting the police, what we call the Zoom police. We took 15,000. With fire, we took 5,000 to assist the fire officers in the market. And then with prison, 5,000. That alone was 25,000. That is 5 times what we are doing into the mainstream. And our hope is that as they work with the police, they work with fire, they work with prisons, they get to know the job so that the next recruitment we may be able to prioritize them because now they know how the job is. And we are also getting the opportunity to work with them and even know their character, their behavior, their strength, and their weakness. So we want to assure them we'll continue to open many more opportunities for the young people. But we cannot use one recruitment exercise to solve all this. So I want to thank you so much for this opportunity to give you this brief. Yes.
Question.